We have more than 500 species of sharks. Great white shark. A great white shark. Foreign speech. Foreign speech. In this documentary, we'll learn about the great white shark. All right, let's get into it. This is a great white shark. This great white shark is the largest predatory fish in the world. It can grow up to 6 meters long and weigh over 2,200 kilograms. And these guys are found all around the world in temperate coastal waters. Blue whale. Now, blue whales aren't actually the largest animals on Earth. That title goes to the colossal squid. But blue whales are still pretty big. They can grow up to 30 meters long and weigh over 200 tons. That's about the size of a school bus. Blue whales are found in all oceans, from the Arctic to the Antarctic. But now let's get back to the great white shark. This one's huge. I bet it's over 6 meters long. I wonder if it's a male or a female. Well, actually, there's no way to tell the difference between male and female great white sharks just by looking at them. Scientists use a technique called sexing to determine the sex of a shark. They basically look at the way the shark swims and then take a sample of its blood. Sexing can be tricky, though, because sometimes sharks don't behave like you'd expect them to. For example, male great white sharks have been known to swim in groups, which is usually how females travel. So scientists have to be careful not to make any assumptions based on the way a shark swims. The only sure way to tell the sex of a great white shark is to dissect it. Now that we know how to tell the difference between male and female great white sharks, let's go back to our friend here. I think she's a girl. What do you think? Well, great white sharks are apex predators, which means they're at the top of the food chain. They eat other animals such as seals and sea lions, but they also scavenge dead animals. Great white sharks are scavengers. That means they'll eat dead animals that they find floating in the water. Sometimes they'll even eat live animals that are still swimming. Great white sharks are opportunistic feeders, which means they'll eat whatever they can catch. If they're in an area where there are a lot of seals or sea lions, they'll mostly eat those animals. But if they're in an area where there aren't a lot of seals or sea lions, they'll eat other animals such as dolphins, porpoises, and turtles. They'll even eat each other. Great white sharks are cannibalistic. That means they'll eat their own species. This is especially common when there isn't a lot of food available. In these situations, the larger sharks will eat the smaller sharks. It's a survival of the fittest situation. Only the biggest and strongest sharks will survive. Here's something interesting about great white sharks. They can smell blood from a very long distance away. They have a special sense of smell that allows them to detect blood in the water. They can pick up the scent of blood from miles away. When they smell blood, they head in that direction. They won't stop until they find the source of the bleeding. It doesn't matter if it's a small cut or a large wound, great white sharks will go out of their way to find it. They're so determined to find the source of the blood that they'll even swim against strong currents. There's nothing going to stop them once they get that bloodhound going. They're like little sharks with noses for blood. Not only can they smell blood from far away, but they can also track it. They have special cells in their noses that help them track the source of the blood. These cells are called chemoreceptors. Chemoreceptors are able to detect very small changes in the concentration of chemicals in the water. They allow sharks to follow the path of blood to its source. Once they find the source, they go into feeding frenzy mode. They tear apart the animal and eat it. They don't waste any time. Great white sharks are so efficient at finding and eating animals in the water. They're often seen working together in groups. They'll surround an animal and tear it apart. This allows them to eat the animal quickly and easily. They're basically like a team of sharks working together to bring down prey. Some people believe that sharks don't feel pain, but that's not true. Sharks are actually very sensitive creatures who can feel pain. When a shark is in pain, it will exhibit certain behaviors. These behaviors include thrashing around, trying to hide, and refusing to eat. Thrashing around is a natural response to pain. It's what most animals do when they're in pain. Sharks will thrash around in the water trying to get away from whatever is hurting them. They may also try to hide when they're in pain. They'll seek out dark, secluded places to hide. They'll stay in these areas until the pain goes away. Finally, sharks will refuse to eat when they're in pain. They'll turn away from food and not touch it. This is a way for sharks to conserve energy. When a shark is in pain, it needs all of its energy to heal. Eating takes a lot of energy, so sharks will often refuse to eat when they're hurt. Sharks are amazing creatures. They're strong, smart, and beautiful. They play an important role in our ecosystem, and we should do everything we can to protect them. Did you know that the great white shark has the strongest bite force of any fish on Earth? It can chomp down with a force of over 1,000 pounds per square inch. That's enough force to crush a human skull like a grape. But don't worry, we're safe from great white sharks. For the most part, they only attack humans when they mistake us for another animal. And even then, it's rare that they do. Only about 10 people are bitten by great whites each year. That's one bite for every 1 million people in the world. So don't worry, you're probably not gonna get eaten by a great white shark anytime soon. But if you do, just remember to stay calm and enjoy the ride. After all, it's not every day that you get to be someone else's lunch. Sharks are warm-blooded, which means they can regulate their own body temperature. Most fish are cold-blooded, which means they rely on the environment to regulate their body temperature. For example, if a shark is in a cold area of water, its body temperature will drop. But if it moves to a warmer area of water, its body temperature will rise. Sharks are the only fish that can regulate their body temperature. This allows them to live in a variety of environments, from the frigid waters of the Arctic to the steamy waters of the tropics. Sharks have a sixth sense that allows them to sense electrical fields. This sense is called electroreception. Electroreception allows sharks to detect the weak electrical signals given off by other animals. Sharks use this ability to find prey. They can sense the electrical fields given off by fish as they swim past. This allows them to ambush their prey. Sharks are ambush predators, which means they wait until they're close to their prey before attacking. They launch themselves out of the water and use their sharp teeth and powerful jaws to eat their prey. They often eat their prey whole. Shark skin is covered in tiny scales. These scales overlap each other and form a protective layer over the shark's body. The scales also help reduce drag in the water. This allows the shark to swim more efficiently. The scales also have tiny pores in them. These pores allow the shark to sense changes in water pressure. This ability helps the shark to detect predators and prey. Sharks can also use their scales to regulate their body temperature. When a shark is in warm water, its scales absorb heat. When a shark is in cold water, its scales release heat. The giant squid is a mysterious creature that lives in the deep sea. Very little is known about the giant squid because it's so elusive. However, scientists estimate that it can grow up to 13 meters long. That's about the length of a school bus. Giant squids have huge eyes that are used to see in the dark depths of the ocean. They also have 8 arms and 2 tentacles that they use to capture prey. Giant squids are thought to be able to eat just about anything, including fish, crustaceans, and even other squids. Giant squids are believed to live in all of the world's oceans, but they are most commonly found in the North Atlantic Ocean. What do sharks have in common with airplanes? Well, both sharks and airplanes have fins. Fins are used for steering and stability. They come in a variety of shapes and sizes, but they all serve the same function. Sharks have 2 dorsal fins, 1 pectoral fin, 1 pelvic fin, and 1 caudal fin. Each of these fins helps the shark to steer and stabilize itself in the water. Airplanes also have fins. The fins on an airplane are used for the same reasons as the fins on a shark, steering and stability. The fins on an airplane are usually located on the wings and tail of the plane. The wings help the plane to steer in the air, while the tail helps to keep the plane stable. Both sharks and airplanes rely on their fins to be able to move through their respective environments. Without their fins, sharks would be unable to swim and airplanes would be unable to fly. Are sharks mammals? No, sharks are not mammals. Mammals are warm-blooded animals that give birth to live young and nurse their babies with milk. Sharks are cold-blooded animals that lay eggs. Therefore, sharks are not mammals. Sharks belong to a group of animals called cartilaginous fish. This group includes all fish that have skeletons made of cartilage instead of bone. Cartilaginous fish are further divided into two classes, sharks and rays. Sharks and rays are closely related, but they are not the same thing. Sharks are characterized by their distinctive dorsal fins, while rays are characterized by their flattened bodies and whip-like tails. Humans kill millions of sharks every year. Some people eat shark meat, while others kill sharks for their skin or to protect themselves from shark attacks. However, killing sharks is dangerous. Sharks are apex predators, and they have the ability to sense danger. When a shark feels threatened, it may become aggressive and attack. Humans have been known to be killed by sharks, so it's important to be careful around them. But why do humans wear shark jewelry? Shark jewelry is often seen as a symbol of wealth and power. The shark is a powerful and feared predator, and many people believe that wearing shark jewelry gives them some of that power. In addition, shark jewelry is also a way to show off one's love of the ocean. Sharks are amazing creatures that play an important role in the marine ecosystem. By wearing shark jewelry, one can show their support for these animals and the protection of their habitat. However, there's a lot of talk about whether or not shark jewelry is ethical. Some people believe that it's wrong to kill sharks just for their skin. They argue that sharks are endangered species and that we need to do everything we can to protect them. Others believe that shark jewelry is a way to help protect sharks. They argue that the money earned from selling shark jewelry is used to fund conservation efforts. Ultimately, it's up to each individual to decide whether or not they believe it's ethical to wear shark jewelry. Wow, did you know that shark skin is toxic? That's right. Shark skin contains a toxin that can be deadly to humans. The toxin is called chondroitin sulfate. It's found in the dermis, which is the outer layer of the shark's skin. Chondroitin sulfate is a polysaccharide. It's made up of many sugar molecules linked together. The sugar molecules are connected by strong bonds that are difficult to break down. When these bonds are broken, the toxin is released. The toxin can then enter the bloodstream and cause a number of harmful effects. These effects can range from mild discomfort to death. Symptoms of chondroitin sulfate poisoning include fever, chills, muscle pain, and weakness. In severe cases, it can cause respiratory failure and death. There is no cure for chondroitin sulfate poisoning. The only treatment is supportive care. This includes fluids and electrolytes to replace what has been lost due to vomiting and diarrhea, as well as oxygen therapy if the person is having trouble breathing. If you want to know more about sharks, let me know in the comments below. I'll be sure to reply. Also, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye-bye. Have you ever seen a shark before? Do you know anyone who has seen a shark before? Tell me about your experience with sharks. Share your story with the world. Who knows, maybe your story will inspire someone else to learn more about sharks. This has been a great white shark documentary. And if you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.